ChatGPT-4 versus 4.0 versus Gemini versus Perplexity versus Claude versus whatever. What are these different LLMs good at and not good at? Like, why do you have to use different ones for different things?
Well, because we're not at the level of standardization that we are in cars yet. So each one of them has been trained on different things, and each one of them is designed a little differently, and so they perform better or worse at different task sets. I personally use Claude as my daily driver, so to speak. I have found that their projects and artifacts are the best for my work to support it. I don't need image generation or anything like that. Gemini, I think, is best, at least how I use it, is for recall. So it has the best ability to recall information over large context windows. And I also use it because it can watch videos and then respond to them. I think it's a pretty good critical thinker as well. So I'll often, I might have Claude writing for me, and then Gemini is going to be my editor. Very common setup. GPT-4 and 4.0 are solid models. They are maybe the easiest to deploy on. And I think the assistance features in particular set the OpenAI ecosystem apart, because you can teach assistants how to use specific tools. And that allows you to build teams of assistants that help in assistant tasks.
Okay. So, all right. So you've discovered how all these are tuned and what things they're useful for. Gotcha. Yeah. When you mentioned Claude with artifacts, what is that? What does that mean?
So Claude has some cool features where it will create it'll have a little pop-up window, and it'll create a second file. And that then allows you to much more easily work on the file and go back and forth. So it's if you opened a notepad and you and the AI could share the notepad.
Okay. To do what? What would be an example?
So when I'm generating flowcharts, when I ask Claude to generate a Mermaid.js flowchart, it generates that flowchart and displays it as an artifact. So our conversation will be on the left and the artifact will be on the right. And then if I ask it to make an update, it will then generate a new copy of that artifact. So it has version control as it generates different versions, and I can have my conversation separate. So I don't have to how you kind of have to clip your copy and paste sometimes if you're asking it to make things. You don't have to do any of that.
Well, can you tell it where to store each version, or how to autosave, or what to do?
So it just saves every generation.
Where does it save it to, though?
This is inside the Claude chat app.
Oh, but how do you export it to something that you would keep?
Copy paste, but it's a one click because the artifact is generated separately. If you'd like, I know the listeners won't be able to see, but if you'd like, I can share my screen and show you an example.
Okay, interesting. So I guess it's not complete automation, but I guess you could do it where it would save it to a location that you specify, right?
Not so. At least with the Claude app, it doesn't integrate with anything else. It's siloed, so you'd have to download it and then move it into one of the other chart tools or something like that. So we move all of ours into draw.io, and then they get saved to our Google Drive.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's fine enough, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally one click, which is quite nice.
Is it easy to make sure that the prompts you're typing in, the data you're using, are kept private and not to be, put into the LLM for use by others?
I'll say yes with an asterisk, because I don't believe that any one of these companies is really following what they say right now.
What about if you do a custom GPT? I heard there's something called LLaMA where you can run your own servers, run an LLM. Would it be kept private then?
Yeah. LLaMA is an open source option, and we have customers we deploy open source for. So if you're going to something like that, then it would be fully private. But I think anyone who you're hosting on other people's servers right now, every AI company is trying to get enough data to do more AI.